Listen, when we were lavishing praise all over the midfield, particularly the second part of last season, when nothing got through that middle. Unfortunately, so far this year, on too many occasions, Liverpool have had to defend, which they didn't have to do previously. So, listen, you take the praise, you're going to have to take the criticism. And it is a fact that teams are getting through Liverpool's middle three a lot more this season than they ever did in the second part of last.
Why?
Well, it could be a combination of the front three not defending properly. You know, we always talk about defending from the front, and if the front three don't do their stuff, then it's too much for the three behind them. But if the front three are doing their stuff, then that means that the three behind aren't. And I would suggest that it's the three in the middle that are not putting the work in.
And if the front three are not keeping the ball and holding the ball as much as they were last year, and they're not, because whenever that front three interacted last year, more often than not, they worked a bit of space and they got in behind, and that allows you to maybe get up and support a little bit, or at least keep your shape. But if the ball's gone up and it's bouncing off Salah, or it's bouncing off Firmino, all of a sudden it's coming straight back at your midfield, you're not quite in position, and you're getting overrun. One of the things, and you mentioned it, Stevie, I think it was the Arsenal game, a few weeks ago or whenever it was, James Milner actually looked, for once in his life, looked a little bit tired.
Right.
Now, you know, they've played a lot of games, these guys. They've got Fabinho and Keita have come in. Now, I know they've had injuries. I certainly expected Keita to play more than he has. Wasn't so sure about Fabinho, but...
4 starts, that's nuts, isn't it?
That's strange.
Who has?
Keita.
Yeah, he was this guy who was talked up when he was coming in from Germany, signed months and months before. And the one thing Keita has, amongst his other footballing qualities, he's got an unbelievable amount of energy to get around the field. Now, I know he's had the odd injury or two, but he may have to come in and replace a Milner or a Henderson or a Wijnaldum.
Well, if he doesn't this weekend, because Henderson's suspended, if he doesn't start in this derby, then he's going to be scratching his head thinking, what have I done?
It's interesting when you compare their results at home, for example. Arsenal doing pretty well, 4 wins out of 7 so far this season. But Spurs are the best team in the league away from their home ground, which of course at the moment is Wembley. So considering that, Robbo, what sort of game are we expecting?
Well, if Spurs play anywhere near as well as they did against Chelsea and press Arsenal high up the field, we know Arsenal like to play out from the back these days under Unai Emery. They can cause Arsenal all sorts of problems if they win the ball back. But Arsenal have good quality in the front areas. They're playing with confidence at the moment. They had a good result against Bournemouth. They had another good result in midweek against Forschler, where they didn't have to use most of their players. So I think they go into the game with a lot of confidence. But I still feel Spurs have the better players and the better manager. And if they can get things right, they've got every chance of winning the game.
A lot of eyebrows were raised, Robbo, weren't they, with the exclusion of Mesut Ozil in the game against Bournemouth. Unai Emery said that he didn't think he was up for the physical entity of that match. He's going to start though, this one, surely.
I'm not sure he is. I mean, when you're saying a player... If you're saying a player isn't up for the physical efforts at Bournemouth, is he going to be up for the physical efforts against Spurs, who are going to be very...
Welcome into extra time. Let's kick things off with why are you guys going so easy on Romelu Lukaku while he is in his worst scoring form so far with United?
He's not been playing,
That's never got him for sitting on the bench, Kevin.
We've talked about the fact Rashford in particular might play in front of him, but also that what's his name, Mourinho, would he leave him out? And he has. He's generally left him out. So there's not been a lot to talk about apart from he's not playing well and he's not playing. Jack?
Jack. Robbo. Stevie. John. Bob.
I can hear you.
Is Robbo still here?
He's still here, though.
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm still here, yeah.
God, it's late in London as well.
Lukaku, he's not playing well enough. That's why he's not in the side. He's just, at the moment, not looking a good striker. He plays better for Belgium than he does for Manchester United.
What game did you do today, Robbo?
Big one.
It was a classic. It was an all-time classic. Solihull Moors against Blackpool in the second round of the FA Cup. Entertaining. It was good football. There was a lot of activity around both goal mouths.
What was the score? He's gone for the sarcastic look.
Yeah.
Oh. He's gone for the sweater today, Robbo.
It's an American flag in the background. It is, isn't it?
There might be.
Yeah.
It is, yes.
Over your left shoulder.
Oh, why?
Yeah. Well, I think it's on American. It's at ABC. I think that's where we are. So why not have a bit of American?
You know where you are, Robert.
I think that's where I am.
Well,
how'd you get there,
Smith? I know that.
Rob, how'd you get there if you don't know where you are?
Why does Stevie hate Spurs?
Yes, Stevie.
Do I hate
I
Spurs?
think I've been very complimentary to them over the last couple of weeks. They haven't been at their best, and that's all I said. And the last couple of weeks they have been, and I've said that. So what's the problem?
Why has Craig mellowed? He used to lose it on every episode of Espn FC. No boiling point, nada. You have mellowed a bit.
Have I?
You haven't thrown those glasses for a while.
I'll sort that out soon. Have I mellowed? Do you think so? I know I haven't done any boiling points for a while. I should bring that back, really. I don't want to do it every week, like, but you know, when there's a big, I don't know,
A big boil up.
a fed up shout.
Does it have something? Does it have something to do with his wife being away from home?
Oh,
What?
Responsibilities, Stuart. I have responsibilities. Do
very responsible.
Very
these
responsible.
days.
He has mellowed, isn't he?
you think so?
Yeah.
What? In what way?
You've even,
Hold on,
you've
when
even
was the last
changed
time?
your evening routines.
When was the last time? When was the last time you weren't speaking to the missus?
It's got nothing to do with that.
Wait.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Oh, he's talking about mellow. David's talking about mellowed on the
Look
show.
at Dr. Phil over there.
Got nothing to do with it.
Wait.
That's part of it as well.
Lion about
He's talking about mellowed on the show.
Home life.
You think
Home
I
life
have?
feeds into work life.
How's your home life at the moment, Stephen?
That's all right.
I'll put it one way. You go round his house, take precautions.
It's rather predictable
Space
at the moment, I would say.
Medication, anything. Take a doctor with you, anything.
Stephen is home alone at the moment.
Well, I'll sort that mellowed out then. Now I start. Do you mean I'm not? No.
No!
I still have an argument now and again.
This is. Does Robbo think that Madrid's wing-backs will suit Conte's 3-5-2 perfect next season if we bring him in?
Oh dear. Wing backs and three at the back for Real Madrid. Conte loves playing the system. Marcelo would be very good at doing it. He almost plays like a left wing back anyway. Carvajal, I'm not sure he's suited for it, but Conte will be a good manager. I'm sure he'll do a much better job than what's been going on for the last year or so.
A niche Robbo question, that, isn't it?
Yes, yeah.
Conte
Loved
tick,
it.
wing-backs
I think Robbo
tick.
wrote that in.
It should be hashtag I hate Wenger as well.
Yeah.
We've just seen it all up. Speaking of hatred, Shaq,
Well,
is Peter Crouch the most hated man in Trinidad and Tobago?
no.
This comes from his podcast where he was talking about where he scored the header.
Yeah.
And he was put in the threads.
For a while, yeah, he wouldn't have been welcome, but we move on.
Yeah.
We have other things to worry about than Peter Crouch and what was.
Is my question going to make it onto the show?
I don't know what your question was, Craig.
My question to us.
Did you use the hashtag?
I didn't use
Hashtag
that.
FC Extra Time?
I didn't use the hashtag. That might be it. But Mike, I'd like to see my question on the show.
I don't know we can answer your question, so there's no point in asking it.
Why can't we answer this? This is very secret.
I don't know.
What's he telling you?
He says your question's too boring. Anyone interested?
Well, do you want me to ask? Do you want me just to verbalise it rather than have it on the screen?
I don't think that makes a difference.
Why are you tweeting out the questions to this show? It's just bugging me.
I don't know. I've been doing as I'm told.
And
just
don't
here
tag
for
us. I mean, what? I
Told you to do what?
Pete,
Pete, producer.
I'm getting somewhere.
Just,
Will you
I don't,
tweet
very
tweet out
weird.
the...
We've got in this weird sort of groove at the moment with some people behind the scenes. It's just dead weird.
anyone interested in the Tyson Fury fight this
I am, but not at that
No.
time.
What time's it going to be?
Well, the fight's in LA,
Right.
so if it's late in LA, what time's it? It's going to be way too late.
But will it not have to cater to the English audience as well and not be a bit earlier in LA?
So LA is 8 hours ahead of England. So if they have it early in LA, it'll be in the afternoon in England.
No. Other way around.
If they have it, say,
If
midnight
they
in
have
LA...
it early in LA, it'll be midnight.
If they have it
Oh,
late
right,
in LA,
right.
it's
Yeah.
more...
LA is 8 hours ahead.
Yeah.
Is it? Oh, I'm confused. now.
England is 8 hours ahead.
England's 8
If
hours.
it's midnight in LA, it's 8 a.m. in England.
That's right.
There we go.
I'm still well.
I'm out of this. I've confused myself. I don't know what time the fight is. But anyway, Deontay Wilder looks he does look an angry man.
He's been biting, hasn't he, pretty much?
Well, not...
Not literally Mike Tyson style, but to the Tyson Fury insults.
Yeah, and he
Pick
does
him
look,
up, Mike Tyson.
he looks a big hard fella. No, I wouldn't want to be upsetting him. I'd love to watch it, but I don't know what time it's on.
Well, if
And
only
maybe
there was some
past-
sort of search engine you could use to find out.
Well, yeah, it might be past my bedtime.
That's it. We're done. Stevie can't use the internet at home. He's used all his data.
Yeah, that was a classic.
Is it at 9 Eastern?
He's run out of
Oh, the
megabytes.
fight's at 9 Eastern.
9 Eastern.
So 6 o'clock in LA.
As I said, past my bedtime. When I've got 2 bottles of red wine down me by 8:45, I'm gone. Anyway, hurry up, I've got compliance training to do.
Right, I think we're done.
Does
aren't
everybody
we?
have
Well,
I said 6:20 we'd finish. Look, 2
I have to
minutes
check and
early.
see if I have to
That's
do
it.
compliance.
I'm going to be angry now next week. I'm
dear.
too mellow.
You wait to see my tweets for the extra time.
That's weird. Weirdos.
So according to this article in ESPN FC, Shaka Hislop, Zinedine Zidane, according to his son, is ready to return to coaching. Where in the world, which club would be the best fit for Zidane right now?
I'm not quite sure, and on the other hand, I'm not sure why his son has become this valuable resource. I mean, I understand the connection, but of course he's happy to see his dad return to management. Saying all that, any number of big clubs would be lining up for Zidane's signature, given what he accomplished with Real Madrid, and the fact that I think there aren't that many options available to big clubs right now. The two, and I know the article you're speaking of, the two clubs that have been heavily linked, Manchester United and Bayern Munich, again, he fits into either of those quite easily, in my opinion. Different demands, different remits for both those clubs. So I'm not quite sure which one, obviously, Zidane would be favouring. Maybe we'd have to ask his son that.
Let's take Zidane. Before we take Man United and Bayern, let's take Zidane and his qualities. What would a prospective employer be getting if they were to hire Zidane?
Well, I thought what you saw from Zidane throughout his 3 years as an incredible man-manager. And at the highest levels of the game, given the talents at your disposal, I think man management is maybe an undervalued skill. Zidane has shown that he can do that. He can get a dressing room happy, playing their football, and without get everybody clicking and on the same song sheet. I thought what you saw of Zidane in probably the last, more so in the last 6 months of his tenure at Real Madrid than in previous times, is that tactically he's astute. And I was very critical of Zidane early on, and in particular the first half of last season, where they were struggling in the league and he wasn't really making any changes, and he just allowed Real Madrid's league campaign to kind of fizzle out. I thought you saw a different side of that same manager in the second half of the season, where tactically he got so much right, both in league and in particular in Europe. So potentially you are getting a manager who's complete. Again, you only saw that complete side of Zidane in the last 6 months of what was a 3-year tenure.
Let's end this by playing a quick game, right? 2-part game, okay? It's between Mourinho and it's between Zidane. First of all, tactician, who's better, Mourinho or Zidane?
Well, what we saw the last 6 months of Zidane and what we've seen in the last 6 months of Jose Mourinho, Zidane.
Okay, now what about man management? Who's better, Mourinho?
Zidane.
Zidane. So if you were involved with the Manchester United board and you were deciding whether to stay with what you've got or get rid and go for Zidane, what would be your choice?
I would go for Zidane, without question. And look, all things being equal, Manchester United, I'm sure, would have Zidane right now. There are quite a few hurdles for them to cross. One, we're not absolutely certain that Zidane is ready to return to football club management, and if so, whether a club it's going to be a club like Manchester United, maybe he just prefers to go back to one of his former clubs, for whatever reason. Secondly, Jose Mourinho is still sitting on quite a hefty contract. Now, Manchester United can afford to pay him up, but whether that's a decision the board will take or not, we're waiting to find out.
We don't really know right now what's going to happen. Maybe we should ask Zidane's son. For today's transfer rater, we can either ask Siri or we can ask Shaka Hislop. What do you think would give you more sense?
Siri.
Siri. But Siri's unavailable right now. So we've got Shaka to decide if Eric Bailly is going to leave Manchester United.
Yeah, I think he is. He's barely featured this season. Okay. Well, I think three stars. Has he featured 3 times? Just so far down the pecking order right now. I don't see how he bounces back.
Do you want to ask Siri and see what she says?
Clearly you do.
Hey Siri, is Eric Bailly going to leave Man United?
Here's what I found on the web for is Eric Bailly going to leave Money United.
Money United. Right, that's enough. Thank you. Joel Matip to leave Liverpool.
I'm going to go yes, yet again. Again, finds himself down the pecking order. Van Dijk, Lovren, and with the emergence of Gomez, I'm not sure how Matip gets back in. A yes for me.
Thank you, Shaka. Aaron Ramsey.
I'm concerned at the end of each answer where this is going to go. So Juventus, I think this works. And I'll tell you why. Juventus have done an incredible job of taking players who may be a surplus to requirements at other clubs and making them and successfully integrating them into their team. Khedira, Cuadrado, the list goes on and on. I think they do the same with Ramsey.
What have you made of this so-called spat between Santi Solari and Isco?
Clearly something personal. And it happens all the time, maybe more than we'd like to acknowledge. But oftentimes it's just about a player fitting with a manager and vice versa. I think there's a clash of personalities, quite possibly from something that happened in the past. But I don't see how they reconcile that. Saying that, to the question whether Isco leaves Real Madrid, if I'm advising Isco, I'm saying stay put, at least for the time being. Because as much as Solari was announced as Real Madrid's permanent manager, that is a temporary job just by its very nature. Anyway, wait to see what happens, at least till the summer, and make a decision then.
Before we get into the specifics of the club, there's two types of people that come to MLS, those that buy into it and those that don't. Would Balotelli be in the former or the latter category?
I think he should be in the former, in buying into it. Look, Balotelli for me remains an incredible talent, but for whatever reason, it's just not worked out. And even when he was going great at Nice and he felt a bigger club would come knocking, it just didn't happen. No, I'm just not so sure that it ever happens for Balotelli again. An incredible talent wasted. Saying that, I think MLS has changed in its appeal and the players that it tries to bring in. And Balotelli ticks a lot of boxes for them. Speaking of that talent, maybe somebody who wants to come and have a bit more of a relaxed, off-field experience and contribute on the field in a manner that I think he can. I think it works for everybody.
Thank you, Siri.
You're welcome.
And thank you. So you left your notes upstairs and said, I'm just going to go with the favourites. Now, the favourite last week, Real Madrid, got thumped to Eibar. How do you think they'll do at Valencia?
Not well.
No?
The trouble is, for Real Madrid, this club, these players are under an incredible amount of pressure. To the point where I think Real Madrid have saved their best form for the Champions League. And right now, it's probably easier to play away from home than at home.
Not last week.
Well, no, that's because they're just poor. But you saw that against Roma in the Champions League. Okay, I knew they got let off the hook just before half-time, as we were speaking about before. But Valencia come into this in good form.
Yeah, fourth in the form table.
Valencia know that Real Madrid aren't playing well and are a wounded animal.
No.
Valencia.
Are you?
Mm.
Whoa. I'll stay safe, but you know what? That wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, but you're just going to stay safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice badge against badge with bear. Girona, Atletico Madrid.
Nice badge. I don't know what just happened. I think you're seeing a better Atletico Madrid. I don't think they're back to their best, but they're winning games, and I give them the nod over Girona.
Fifth in the form table, Girona. Draw. Just not gonna agree with you today.
All right.
I'll probably have to hear Barca against Villarreal.
Yeah, go on. Yeah. What was that?
They couldn't beat 10-man Rangers. Barca will beat them. This is the story of the season. Deportivo Alavés, 14th last season, but flying this season, 4th. And this is the other story of the season. Sevilla, top. What happens?
I'm going to sit on the fence with this one. Both teams in fantastic form. Maybe if it was in Seville, I'd say Sevilla win it. But Alaves, I'm going to sit on the fence and go for a draw.
Don't want to agree with you. I mean, I'm looking at this. There's no home defeats for Alaves this season. There is now. Sevilla. Trust me.
Yeah, right.
Welcome into the ESPN FC studio. I'm Dan Thomas, joined by Hercules Gomez to look ahead to those second leg matches in Liga MX this weekend. We'll start with Cruz Azul Querétaro, 2-0 up. Cruz Azul defensively, they have been sound, haven't they, this season?
They're the best defensive team in the league. Even stronger at home. Their 3 losses this year came on the road. This is a very good defensive team in Cruz Azul that's playing against a desperate Querétaro team. Rafa Puente de Rio's team, a lot of youth, a lot of exuberance, a lot of motivation, not much in product. They have Sambeso, who, if they have any chance to win this game, he needs to come up big. Thiago Volpe is a very good, reliable goalkeeper, but it's in the spaces in between. They've just got a lot of role players, not a lot of figureheads, and that's going to do them in.
It's an argument to say Monterrey Santos is the closest one to call. Monterrey, of course, winning the first leg 1-0.
Without a doubt, the defending champions in Santos Laguna against one of the richest rosters in all Latin America and Monterrey, but probably the most underperforming roster in all of Mexico. This is a team that doesn't really play with the system. They have a lot of individual brilliance that gets them out of situations, that gets them points at the end. But Santos is the opposite. This is a true team from top to bottom. This is a very well-sound, oiled machine, and I feel that they take care of business at home.
Meanwhile, Toluca, of course, with that late equaliser to make it 2-2 in the first leg. Club America, though, favourites.
Easily favorites. They score the most goals out of anybody in this league, but they do it without a clear, consistent goal scorer. They spread the wealth. Very good on set pieces. All of a sudden, their center backs are a weapon. When you look at Toluca, those 2 goals they gave up at home, I know they tied the game, but those road goals will be crucial. This is a team that's grasping at straws. Look for Piojo Herrera and his men to take care of business.
Meanwhile, Pumas Tigres, who have you got in this race?
Oh, this is easy for one. I know Pumas is done so well this year. 3rd place, all this talk about them coming back. The strong Pumas ties with the Fuerzas Básicas, with the homegrown players, and the good mixture of foreign talent. It's finally there. But Tigres is the best roster in all of Mexican soccer, and they tend to win when it's December.
Hercules Gomez, thank you very much. And if you want to hear more from Herc, and let's face it, who wouldn't? You can download the Max and Herc podcast, which drops on Monday.